Hey guys, welcome back to BG Biblical Studies. Brady G here. Today we're going to talk about a topic that is very complex and controversial and kind of imaginative on my part. And that is, what if we were to create a Christian doctrine for time, describing time, what came first, the universe or time? Time in relation to our God, who we know serves outside of this universe, but is also present within it, and kind of a scientific and theological look on time. And I'm really excited about this. I actually just wrote a very in-depth 1,500-word blog post about this, kind of diving into the scientific, historical opinions on it, as well as other people's opinions on it, like scientists like Newton, etc. So be vigilant, read that blog post, watch this video, and inform yourself and decide your opinions on time and how it correlates to Christianity. So time. The way that we look at time is that time is relative to events happening. And events happening could be anything from you going out your front door and walking down the street to the universe being created and manufactured, stars burning, and systems rotating. Time is relative to events happening. So events happening in the context of God can kind of be looked at in two different ways. If you were a classical theist, aka somebody that believes in God or gods, but not necessarily our one God, religion that we call Christianity, more than just a religion, a belief system that we believe to be true in its entirety. Classical theists would believe that God only had one event, and that was one critical command in the beginning, and actually every event that happens after that is a manifestation of his first command. And that would mean that this God or gods, whatever the classical theist decides to believe in, had an entire circular knowledge that was not growing, it was static, and that with that entire knowledge he carried out one huge event that has impacts for eternity. Now our God is capable of that. However, if we were looking at it in a more theological way, we would say that our God's knowledge grows every day based on your needs, based on what happens, and he controls what happens, but his knowledge grows based on that. And based on your prayers, based on your communication with him, he carries out events. And that has two different implications on time. In the blog post, I talk about the example of if you pray for financial healing and your God answers that prayer. If you were a classical theist, you would say that he answered that prayer in the beginning when he created the universe, and he created life and day and night itself on day one. And a more theological answer would be he answered that prayer as you prayed it in his own way. The basic Christian doctrine of the beginning of the universe is known as creatio ex nihilo. I might have butchered the statement of that. But that states that the universe was created, it did have a beginning, it was not a big bang, it was created by our God, and it was brushed onto the canvas of existence by our God. And a lot of philosophers actually go along with this doctrine because it doesn't make sense for events to be happening in the past and the future infinitely. There had to be some sort of a first event. So back to time, did time begin after that first event, the creation of the universe? Or does time exist when nothing is happening, the universe is absolutely immobile, and it's just an empty void where God is present without form, anything like that? Does time still exist? And the answer that I came up with, and at the end of my blog post, if you want to save all this reading, I said it doesn't really matter. Because if there's no events happening, then our relative view of time has no implications on life itself. Everything was literally nothing. An empty void without form, without movement, without creation, without destruction. It was just nothing, but yet God was still there. So whether you think time was created with the beginning of the universe, or if you think that time always existed even along with God in the empty void, I have to say that we base time relatively, so if we say time is infinite, then we say events have been happening infinitely. So do you consider an empty void an event, or do you consider that nothing? The way the Bible describes it. The beginning or end of time is irrelevant to us. Even when there is no beginning or end, God knows the beginning and the end. We can only see time in terms of a straight line, as in the beginning of our life to our eternal life, if we make the right choices during this existence. God can see the beginning and the end as a circle, as in he knows the beginning and he knows every section of that. So our interpretation of time is actually synonymous with our interpretation of God, as in all-knowing, as in eternal, as in incomprehensible, which means that for us, It doesn't matter if time was created along with the universe before the universe, or if time doesn't even exist at all, and it's just some sort of a measurement we have to to be able to say the order of things happening, the duration of things happening, and when things will happen, and to keep ourselves on schedule. Anyway, I really want you guys to go check out the blog post. It's on my blog, happytabernacle.wordpress.com, and we're really trying to improve the video quality and audio quality and just content here on the channel. I've been focusing all my energy to this ministry, and I'm believing that God will use this to create very knowledgeable believers and to kind of reinforce our Christian faith in the scientific community as well as in the skeptic community. We have a God that loves you, we have a God that knows you, we have a God that created you, and we just want you to know Him. If you like this video, subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff. And check out the blog, check out the social media down below, check out everything. I'm not asking for your financial support, I'm asking for your prayers, I'm asking for your support, and I'm asking for your salvation. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.